This study examines the coordination between the onset consonant or cluster and the vowel in English syllables. So far, most studies investigating CV coordination have been done under the articulatory phonology or task dynamics framework. And for CV syllables, most studies report a slight lag between C and V in terms of a in-phase coupling relationship. In terms of cluster and vowel syllables, the vowel onset is said to be located sometime after the first component in the cluster due to the C-center effect. For segmentation, most studies use the velocity threshold method, which is to locate the onset of a gesture as when velocity reaches a certain percentage of the peak velocity, such as 20%. And C-center studies usually measure the center of the consonant, both for singleton and cluster consonants, and an anchor time either at the end of the vowel or at the onset of the coded consonant, and compare the time lag between the two and say that a C-center effect has been observed if the C-center to anchor lag are equal between singleton and cluster condition. However, the threshold method is problematic because there is an intrinsic stiffness difference between consonant and vowel articulation. And as you can see on the right here, the stiffer the articulation, which is the lambda value, the earlier you can locate the 20% of the peak velocity. The time lag measurement used in C-center studies are also problematic. They can be severely confounded by prosodic effects such as word edge lengthening, vowel length variation, and cluster segment compression. In this study, we use triplets of words to detect CV onsets by having a vowel minimal pair and a consonant minimal pair that share a common word. This way, the consonant onset can be determined as when acoustics or articulation becomes very different between the consonant contrastive pair, and similarly for the vowel pair. We use 9 matching singleton and cluster triplets, including ones with plosive and fricative onsets in this study. We use male frequency septural coefficients, or MFCCs, in conjunction with neural network and signal chopping. So for a minimal pair with n timeframes, we train a neural network classifier to predict the word label in the minimal pair using 70% of the data, then obtain an accuracy score on the remaining 30% of the data. The process is repeated as we chop the time series 1 frame at a time until we only have 5 frames left. Then the data is shuffled roughly and the entire analysis is repeated 10 times. And the segment onsets are located as when model accuracy falls to or below 0.6 without returning above it. Onset times are collected from the previous analysis and are shown here. There is no major difference in onset times between the cluster syllables and the singleton syllables. And there is also not much difference between consonant onset and vowel onset. Conclude, the nucleus vowel is synchronized with onset consonant for both cluster and singleton onsets. MFCC features can also sufficiently reflect acoustic changes over time for the sake of contrastive analysis.